3, 2, 1.
Welcome to another episode of BlessedPod with
BlessedPod.
Ali and Jono.
Hello.
So today we have a lovely, beautiful lady here.
Very beautiful.
Her name is Sharyne. Welcome.
Thanks.
She goes by Shaz.
She goes by Shaz.
Shaz from the area.
From the area. Well, I don't think she added the area part.
Yeah,
yeah,
Added it.
sorry.
Not really.
I added that.
She's actually
I
not
added
from
that.
the area though.
Okay, she's not. The area is very broad, babe. But yeah.
How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Thank you
Lovely
for coming
space.
through.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I saw like some changes. We haven't caught up in like a while. So yeah, what's been happening?
Just been working online. I mean, COVID happened, so
Yeah.
been indoors a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, training has slowly been going back since, again, lockdown
Yeah.
happened. But yeah, just a lot of like readjusting to my schedule or making a few changes with all the things that's going on. So yeah, I think just like everyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, give a bit of like background to what you do.
What do you do? Because apparently you got heaps of talents.
No, I don't.
You're very talented. I heard. I heard. So I know you got this. Personal trainer by day, nutritionist by night.
God. Okay.
What's the go?
Yeah. So I guess at the moment I'm just doing online nutrition coaching. I am a personal trainer, but I've stopped that.
Okay, why?
Because of just workload and just I don't want to spread myself too thin.
Sure.
Okay.
Understandable.
Yeah. So it's just like it's come to a point where it's like, all right, well, I want to take care of my physical and mental health.
Sure.
So, you know, I think I'm that person that just puts a lot of eggs in their basket majority of the time. And it's just like, sometimes you just don't think because you're so excited. Like, oh yes, another opportunity, I'll do that.
Sure.
Or like another opportunity, I'll do that. But you know, it's part of the learning process. So I'm glad I'm able to be at this point in my life and I guess career to be like, all right, I just need to focus on one thing.
Yep.
Instead of like doing too many things and then, you know, sacrificing here and there. So if you've, know of me, I'm NutriShaz Coaching on Instagram. I have coached Ali for a period of time.
Yes.
And like
She's looking good now. She's
Really?
looking good
Yeah,
now
I
with
think she always looks
with your
good.
guidance. I mean, she's looking better and better every day.
She definitely is really good with like what she does. She's very specific, detailed. You know.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of them out there.
So why nutrition, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, so I actually didn't start out in nutrition. So after high school, I went into exercise physiology. And I kind of had that like love for exercise because of my background. So I was very into sports since primary, high school.
Yeah.
And just my upbringing because I have an older brother, I have an older brother who is a physio.
Sure.
And he was very sporty. So when we were growing up, he'd always like play basketball with me, play soccer. Like
Right.
he was very like accomplished and always doing like
Shout out.
the
Shout out,
state,
brother.
like state championships and stuff like that. So that was my upbringing.
Right.
Yeah. So I didn't have like a sister growing up. So
Sure.
like my interests were very different.
Right.
And so yeah, that kind of led into high school where like I did a lot of Thursday sport.
Oh yeah.
So like
yeah.
MCCS basketball, volleyball.
So very sporty. So that's where it kind of stemmed from then, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So nutrition and then personal training. You took a sidestep from that. So now it's what 90% nutrition now is what you're doing.
100%.
Cool.
Actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh wow. Strictly online as well.
Yeah, because like I used to do face-to-face, but it was just at my home.
Right.
And so I guess that kind of gave me some like practical in the trenches
Yeah,
experience,
yeah.
but obviously like privacy and stuff like that with my family. And then like, I
Totally
guess,
understand.
yeah, like I guess, all right, we'll just do online. And there's just like, everyone prefers online for some reason.
How long have you been doing it online now? How long have you been doing that?
Just a year.
Really?
Yeah.
Far out, man. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I feel like you're the only nutrition. Like I don't know anyone that does nutritioning.
Yeah.
Like
That's the
right.
thing. And that's what I realized, like, oh, there's so many personal trainers out there. Like, everyone's got it, but there's barely any, like, nutritionists or, like, any qualified nutrition person.
Yep.
And so I was kind of glad that I didn't go that pathway and I'm here. Because, yeah, like, even in personal training, like, some personal trainers try to touch nutrition,
On
and it's
nutrition?
just like,
And it's like, wait a minute, buddy.
yeah,
Wait a minute.
yeah, like
yeah.
it can. It's often misinformed, and it's not actually like.
It's very bro science. Let me just.
Yeah,
It's very, very much bro
100%.
science. Like, hey, bro, you just eat that, eat this, and you're good, bro.
Yeah.
All right, all right.
All
okay.
the supplements and everything.
Yeah.
Supplements.
You need this, you
Oh
need
my
that, all of
God.
it. You need all of it. Spend $500.
Oh God,
Yeah, yeah.
Like seriously, it's very pro science. It's very like fad diet based, and it's just ridiculous.
Oh, she sounds like she knows her stuff.
Yeah.
But fad diet based, I've never heard that. Sounds really good. Right. Okay. Cool. Well, it sounds like you really like what you do. Sounds like you really like what you do. And it sounds like you're going to be in there for the long run. Do you have any hobbies like to
Yeah, what
to
do
go
you do
ahead with that?
outside?
Yeah, so outside I go to the gym. That's a good hobby of mine.
Yep.
I did compete in a bodybuilding comp
Sure.
in my first year out of high school.
Cool.
And I was really young, and I guess that also kind of kick-started my interest for nutrition because it wasn't the ideal kind of nutrition protocol I should have, done, but I learnt from it, and that's what kind of made me, all right, you know what, I'm going to learn about nutrition because there had to be another way. Like it was a lot of like cardio, it was a lot of like really low calories, like barely any like food in your container. It was just like 10% food and the rest was just container.
Yeah. Right.
So bad.
So is that I mean, like that's sort of been my experience, even just looking at people. It's like look, I don't know anything about nutrition, bro, so you're gonna have to really educate me right now. But like, I've just been, so she'll just tell me what to do, because I'm one of those guys that just tell me what to do and I'll do it.
Yeah.
Like it's very,
okay.
I don't know if that's the ideal client, but I'll just follow what needs to be done, and
Right.
if that means,
He's the ideal client.
am I? Is that what
Yeah.
ideal is?
Yeah.
Well, I'll just, if you give me something, I'll just do it. I'm not here to just, I don't like figuring it out by myself. Like if you give me a set plan, then I'll just follow it, and then just, I guess, trust the process or whatever it might be. But yeah, I guess I don't really know much. But in saying that, like I've just been following what she's done, and yeah, I've been putting on weight, and it's been working out for me personally. And I've been the type to just watch the YouTube videos and fall under that, this and that. And, oh,
Chicken,
fuck.
broccoli.
Yeah.
Chicken, broccoli, boil my chicken, tastes like shit, and the put sriracha on it. And then I'm like, bro, this is horrible, bro.
Yeah.
Is this what I have to do for a year and a half?
Yeah.
I think we all fell into that though, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
definitely went through it, and like again, it to each their own. Like
Yeah.
it's very context based and it's very individualized. So the thing is, like, while it's good that you have that kind of mentality and skill with like following a plan and just doing it, there are some people who like, yes, you can follow the plan, but then what happens after the plan? Like they get
Right.
it's like taking a dog to a dog park and then taking the leash off.
Right.
They're gonna
fuck.
run crazy.
That's me. I'm the dog.
Yeah.
That's me.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean? Like they can either run crazy in the dog park and never come back, or they can just be smart and have fun here and there,
Yeah.
and then they come back to their owner. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
okay, so what happens after the diet? Everyone's taste perceptions and flavor, it's very heightened. It's crazy because you are very like, during the dieting phase, it's very limited.
Yeah.
And then what happens? Like, how are you going to manage your results? How are you going to apply those skills in your social events? Like
Right.
what? You're going to go to a family member or like your mom's birthday and you're going to be like, oh, sorry, like I have my container, I can't eat. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's not practical.
Oh, that reminds me of Chris, bro. My mate Chris was like that. He always, and my other mate Rodney, I mean, they're both like, I remember peak of their whatever, I don't know, training, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Literally bringing containers. I'm like, bro, you can have one wicked wing, bro. Trust you.
Yeah.
You can relax a little, bro, because they're going mental.
Oh
You know what I
my
mean? But
goodness.
look, I get it, because like I don't know if it's a guy thing, but like it's like a discipline thing. It's like, oh, I can't do it. It's like mental. So it's like trying to get over it like mentally.
Yeah.
And then like I think I guess when you fall off the cliff, you start eating a bunch of shit, and then you wish you didn't starve yourself from stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it like I'm all about that. Like she's coached me in a way. And maybe that's credit to you as well, because you've coached her. But I'm like now in the position where, like, fuck yeah, for the majority like of the week, it's like not 100% good. And then I'll just on the weekend when I'm out with her, I don't think about it too much. You know what I mean? I'll just eat whatever.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, I guess I'm flexible like that. But yeah, that's sort of what I've adopted in the past couple, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's worked out for me.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. And I'm not mental, right, babe?
Yeah.
Can you confirm? All right.
So it's just like, the questions that you ask is like valid. So like, yeah, people just like, oh, I want to lose weight. So like once they lose weight, now what? Like they don't ask, how do I maintain it? Like it's that sustaining it after you lose the weight. So I think that's where the issue with like fad diets and all that come in, because people are like, I want to lose weight, I want to lose weight, but that's it. Like
I want to get something off my chest. I want to get something off my chest, bro, because this is the fucking thing, right? This is the thing.
What's the thing?
Okay, we finished high school a couple of years ago. More than that, like 4, 5, 6 years ago, right? Everyone's been going to the gym since then, but everyone looks the fucking same. Let's be real, all right? I'm not calling anyone out, right? I'm not calling anyone out. And everyone's like, yeah, I'll do this and that. Oh, I just haven't been eating right, you know? And then you realize, and it's like, it's been how many years and I still look the same. I think I hit that realization a couple of years, like last year or something like that. Maybe. Like I've been on and off, and I've had coaches in the past. Right. And I'm like, why am I like, nothing's happening with me. Like I look the same, you know. I need to start doing some, like, I have to take it seriously now, because it's not one of those things where I eat a snack pack after my fucking training session and I'm just going to get big that way. So I have to take it seriously, and I think as you get older, your metabolism starts to fuck up a bit or whatever. It starts to slow down. So now I'm like, okay, got to do it right, you know, 90% whatever, eating clean and getting the protein in and stuff like that. But it just hit me, because I'm like, we all look the same, nothing's happened, we're all telling each other the same shit, no one's getting any progress. So I'm like, what's going on here? Am I listening to the wrong people? That's the realization I had. And obviously I'm listening to her, probably listening to you too. I'm listening to anyone with the expertise, because I don't know anything. And I don't know if you guys experience the same shit, but like, it's like, when are you going to take this seriously? Because like, let's be honest, everyone looks the fucking same still after high school. Like, you know what I mean? So that's my experience anyway.
I
and
mean,
that's why
I think
I'm taking it seriously ever since.
1, 2, maybe 2 to 3 years, like it was like that. It was like, I look the same.
I think like when it comes to goals and approaching what to do about it, like it's good that you have that kind of mentality and the willingness to seek the appropriate expertise, because people get desperate. People will just go to bodybuilding.com or just Google something and they'll just try it without realizing, all right, can this tick the boxes of my lifestyle? Like, is it efficient? Is it something that brings me enjoyment? Can I adhere to this? Because if none of those boxes are ticked, and what the plan is like chicken, rice, greens, you know what I mean?
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna do it.
You're not gonna do it.
So why would you want to put yourself through that? If, again, like, everyone is so desperate these days, and then they get desperate, they do it, then later on they're going to end up looking the same, because they didn't really have that profound change or like that kind of skill or learning experience to maintain those results. And it just sucks. Like, not many people want to do the hard work. That's why people go to supplements, they go to fat burners, they go to cardio without understanding like the principles of strength training. And Ali would know this. Like strength training is so great to add to the equation. Like, it's not just about cardio, it's not just about eating less all the time. Like, you can have the flexibility to eat your desserts and stuff like that. Just be like in moderation, just like alcohol. Like, no one tracks alcohol. So Monday to Friday they're good. Friday to Sunday, you know,
different story.
Then you're back to square one. And then that's how you look the same, like, all the time. Like, and I guess being in that kind of experience myself, like, obviously my context was competition prep, so I had to really be disciplined. I had to follow the plan consistently. But if it's just your everyday Joe who's just like, I want to lose weight, like, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's very context based. So you got to make sure like your boxes are ticked. So like enjoyment, consistency, like it brings you, you know, you can adhere to it. Because if you can't do that, it's so useless. Like, no matter the science behind it, you can't adhere to something. It's so pointless.
You're not gonna do it long term. Like, and 100%. What fucks me up is like, you go on those 8-12 week programs, and then people think they're gonna have that body of the person that sold them that plan in fucking 12 weeks. And I'm like, bro, it doesn't work that way. I think I fell for that too. I mean, it happens, right? I'm like, bro, how come I don't look like you? It's like, oh,
it's been 8-12 weeks. Why don't I look like you yet?
You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck did you sell me, cunt? Like, I want my money back. No, with all due respect, like, I totally get it. But I think everyone's like kind of misled, and those plans don't fucking, and it's a two-way street. Like, you buy it, but you kind of have to put in the work too. Like, you have to put in the
like
work.
Getting a like gym membership and then not using it.
Like,
the first step is getting the membership, but then the second step is you have to go. You have to use it.
It's a fucking different story. Fuck, this is a good chat, by the way. Yeah. I don't know about you guys. Sorry, you probably have questions, babe. Fuck, I'm hijacking the whole conversation.
No, it's alright. Awesome. There's so many questions. Like,
I love talking about it. Seriously, I could go on for ages.
Well, yeah. Fuck.
Well, I mean, that's your your area of like, expertise. So for sure, we'll go into it more. So going along with like what you were saying earlier, like the comp stuff. What I find with like a lot of people, like they tend to be drawn towards like those Instagram people that compete because they look great, right? But they don't realize, like people don't realize, and I didn't realize this for a while. I had to learn the hard way that when, even though someone looks like that, like you're not going to get the results. And plus, these people compete. So the end goal for them is to step on stage and look a certain way. They get judged on their looks. So they have to lose weight. And so that's what drives them to do the macros and, you know, count the calories and 100%. You know, bring the scale to restaurants and stuff like that. Like, you know, like do those crazy things, bring a container to you know, events and stuff. So that's what drives them. But then like, the everyday person, they're not competing. So it doesn't, like they're not pushed, like they can't do it because the goal is very different. So it's exactly it's a very individual thing. And that's why I like, I guess, the approach that you take and that, precision nutrition does, right? With the whole hand portions, because that's like the most realistic for the everyday person.
100%. Like just going on with like tracking and stuff, like it's the right tool for the right person and for the right context. So again, the context of like a bodybuilding comp, you do have to track. Like I have never kind of seen or heard of someone who hasn't used a non-tracking approach to comp prep, because in that context you have to get into a really lean physique and like a certain image, and you do have to have some kind of external metrics. But if it's just like, let's say for a standard, I don't know, CrossFit competition or powerlifting, you can use a tracking approach, and there's also a non-tracking approach. To each their own. And it's just like, you know, just because it's in that setting, you also have to figure out, all right, how do we kind of transition you out of the dieting phase or the prep phase and just maintaining a healthy lifestyle. Like, people don't want to think long term. It's always short term. It's like, all right, this is the goal, this is the comp, let's do that. Then what happens after? Then they go crazy and ballistic and binge and stuff like that. They need to be trained first. Again, referring back to the dog park kind of metaphor. You got to train the dog enough to you know, come back and like, you know, to his owner
100%.
and not get lost. So
I totally get it. And I think, well, I guess I'm curious because, you know, I guess when she's coaching me, I always like to do what needs to be done in a sense, because it's her time and effort being put into me. So I guess like, as far as like ideal client, and you don't have to like say any, like drop any names or whatever, but like I'm curious, like what is ideal and like what's like, I mean, you probably had a client that doesn't do fuck all. You know what I mean? We don't have to drop any names, but I'm saying like how do you, because you're a coach, so it's like you want to keep them accountable, but you don't want to, you're not like forcing them.
Like they're paying you for it, like, but then they don't do anything. And then they blame you kind of thing.
I don't want, and then they point the finger, it's like, you didn't do anything. I'm like, bro, like I'm not here to fucking, you know what I mean? Like babysit you, know what I mean? So does that happen a lot?
No, of course. I actually had a client before, to my, like in my eyes, I think that, you know, it was just not the right time for that person to undergo this kind of goal. Because, you know, I always, like, my goal as a coach this year is to always be intentional to each client. So the way I do that is I always message all my clients, no matter if there's like bloody 10,000 of them, I will literally message each one and just check in, like, how's your week going midweek? Because that's just my way of being intentional. So I would always do that with this specific client, and, you know, it was just like, you know, her stress was just out of whack. Like, she just didn't have a good environment set up. And like work hours, this was during the whole COVID period, and it, like, you know, it's very stressful to transition from going to the office to now being at home. Like, it's so hard to feel productive at home. You just want to crawl back to bed. True. So, you know, I think this person, like, they just weren't adhering, or they just weren't, you know, no matter if I was patient with them, no matter if I checked in with them midweek, I guess her priority wasn't that at that time. Yeah. And I understood that. I didn't take it to heart that like, oh, I'm like a crap coach. I didn't do something. Because I knew where I kind of gave my time. I knew that I was intentional. I knew that I was doing my part. And she was aware that like, oh, thank you for your patience and stuff like that, which is great and reassuring for me just as a coach. But again, like it just probably wasn't the right time for that client.
See how I was telling it's so important. Well. It's so important. I was just gonna say like, and I mentioned this on another podcast with Jose. It's like you're wearing all the hats, bro. Like you got the business hat, you got a coach, you got your counselor, you got a fucking psychologist. You know what I mean? It's 100%. Like fuck, you gotta juggle all these personalities. Yeah, you gotta deal with all these people and like how they operate, and you don't know their backstory. Exactly. Like they could be traumatized, 100%. And you know what I mean. So it's like. Good on you. No, good on you guys for fucking...
There's a lot of coaches that will take it to heart, like, oh, I'm a crap coach. There's something wrong that I did, or like the way or my strategies aren't working. But, like we don't know what's going... Because, again, I'm an online coach. So I don't see them physically. I don't know how they're looking or like, if they're upset, their shoulders are shrugged, they're so down in the dumps, you know what I mean? So it's just like, I always just try to approach with an understanding kind of background and just like be like, all right, so it has nothing to do with me. Like we try to like be self-centered all the time and just like, it has nothing to do with me. Let's just try and understand like whether they're going through a stressful period of their life. Maybe dieting down to achieve a body recomposition is not the goal right now. Just focusing on overall health. So stress management, getting in like, your daily macronutrients, so your protein, fats, carbs. Yeah, that's so good. You know what I mean? So, and the thing is like people, whenever a client signs up, it's always weight loss. And it's always weight loss, body recom. As of recently, it started to pick up towards like just changing their eating habits, which is great. But people, again, they don't think long term. Like they don't think, I just want to have like a good start to achieving a better lifestyle, achieving good health. You know what I mean? It's always about like physique related goals.
Right.
And that's fine, but it can only get you so far in terms of health.
Yeah.
And I think like I always want to push out like health or just focusing on health, because that's a number of things. That's your social health, your relationships, stress management, your spiritual health as well. People forget that. And their social health, they also forget that. So when it comes to dieting and when it comes to social events, which is so unavoidable, people freak out. They're like, oh, I probably won't go. Yeah. But like, that's your friend. That's part of your social health. Yeah. That's your family. That's part of your social health.
Yeah, don't deprive yourself.
Yeah, don't do that. Like, health is like multifactorial. Again, like it's social, spiritual, physical, mental as well. Like, people forget that.
Like people are too hard on themselves, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And they just lose sight of what health is. Like people think health is less body fat, abs, a lot of energy. You know what I mean? Like it's not just that. Like it's also how you relate to people, handling your emotions and your stress on a day-to-day basis. Also eating the right foods to like provide you energy and stuff like that. But it's so much more than just weight loss.
Yeah, for sure.
And people lose sight of that, and it's unfortunate. But at the end of the day, like you are doing something towards your health. If it's just like eating the right foods, or like doing something with your stress management or self-care, something like that. You're doing something. And it's not just always about like training so hard and then like getting down to a really lean physique. That's just my opinion on what health is.
I got you. No, I totally get you.
But that's what like health is.
It's
not even like opinion. Like that's there's a little bug. That's just like you got emotional health, you've got physical.
I learned that in community and family studies.
Something useful in school.
There's the hierarchy, and then you got to meet the needs. And I'm like, you got to go up that list, bro. Otherwise, you're fucked. So I mean, totally. Like everything pretty much start from a good foundation, and I think like I'm blessed because I got access to a coach, and it's like I just got to follow her, like literally. Otherwise, I would have just been eating snack packs after my training sessions, and that wouldn't have. I'd still be a fat cunt or skinny fat, whatever it is. So but
he's doing really well.
I'm trying, and especially like because like COVID happened, and we'll get stuck into that. But because COVID happened, like I'm blessed that I bought like a set, so I'm training at home. There's really no excuses, so I'm still full Olympic bar and everything. And I've just been putting in the work. Like I just think about it as if I do it now, then I'm going to thank myself later.
Yep.
Like I take a training session at a time, making sure I do what needs to be done. People train 5-6 days a week. She's just put me on a 3-day a week. So it's like, because my schedule's so busy. So if I can fit it, I'll just lock out some time and make it work for me. Because I'm not, if I was going to lock myself into a 6-day a week, there's no way I'm going to be able to do that.
Right? Yeah, that's what you 100%. Do with nutrition.
Yeah.
It's like work with their schedule, work with their lifestyle. Don't change their lifestyle
Yeah.
to like make it suit like what you do.
Yeah.
Because it's not about you as a coach, it's about them.
Yeah, and like people think that when you want to make a healthy or like a big change to your health, you got to do these like complicated things. You got to train every day. You got to eat bland. You got to like do like 20,000 steps. Like even honestly, like I am a massive fan of efficiency and just keeping things simple because they really yield the biggest return.
100%.
So even if it's just swapping out a high GI carb, so very carb dense, to something like whole grains for your fiber intake, that's fine. Like it's not telling you to get rid of carbs in general. It's just swapping it for a better option, a low calorie option, and more nutrient dense as opposed to something high caloric, and just with added stuff. Even if it's just doing again like one session in the week, or 2 or 3, depending on your schedule, that's something. You don't have to overcomplicate and just do like 30 minutes of cardio after each session. Like I am a big fan of just keeping things simple, being consistent with it, and it will yield the greatest returns. And again, like I don't want a client to ever kind of sacrifice enjoyment, because if it doesn't bring you enjoyment, it's going to be so hard to stick to
get
it.
you through it.
And the thing with gyms like reopening, it's like people were so desperate that they'd get plans online that are so complicated and beyond their kind of level of training.
Yep.
And they're just like, we're going to go back into it. But, like it's good to just kind of ease into it. And like, I know like, COVID was so long. We were in lockdown for a very long time and there was kind of limited things to do with training and stuff.
Yeah.
But, just approaching it with a simple kind of, one foot in front of the other. It's better than to just like go at it, then burn out, then get discouraged.
But it's funny because while you're talking, there's misconception, right? It's that eating healthy is expensive. No, it's not. It's not, right? I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's not. I spend fuck all week.
Yeah.
It's like $30 a week, and I eat very fantastic, like very relative, right? So, like, it's not like eating Maccas every day, and it's actually not, bro. Like, and I'm just like, well, where do these people get? I'm not buying kale and shit. Like that shit's expensive. I'm not buying that. That's not my lifestyle. Like I'm still like I'm getting all the protein in. Rice. I'm fucking Asian. That shit's at the house. You know what I mean? Veggies is like $2. Like it's not even that expensive. I don't know why everyone's saying it's expensive, bro. But like 100% of people say it's expensive. I'm like,
well, they say it's expensive because when you eat out, it's expensive as in the options to actually eat like a salad. When you can eat a salad at home.
Oh, is that what they mean?
Cheap.
Oh, my bad.
I could mean that way as well. But like people that eat out, when they look at the menu and they look at the healthier option, it's like, oh, it's expensive because the salads are like what, $5-6 for a small bowl of salad. When it costs you that much to get like, I don't know, like how many servings at home, it's very different. But that's so true.
Man, I hear it all the time. Like I go to Woolies and like a week's worth of chicken is the price of like a chicken at like El Jana or whatever. And I'm like, what the heck? Like it's like it doesn't make any sense. But like
it's cooked for you.
No, totally.
Like that just goes on with the fact that nobody wants to put in the work to prepare it themselves. It's all about convenience this day, and I like to preach about convenience as well.
100%.
But like you're better off just preparing those meals yourself, and then the whole idea of preparing those meals yourself, you get much more volume of food. And like that's another thing that a lot of people don't realize is volume eating. People think you always have to eat less. Like it's always about that, just eating less.
I've heard of that.
But everyone loves eating. So if you just kind of be smart about how, your food group choices, like commonly, like 100%, your macronutrients are so, by definition, nutrient dense. It's not calorie dense. So if you find food group sources that are, nutrient dense, high fiber, they're going to keep you fuller for longer, and you're going to have so much volume compared to something like takeaway at, I don't know, Macca's or something like that, or like those salad places. But they have like a lot of dressings and stuff, and added stuff added to it. But if you just make it at home, like you know what's in your food, and that kind of helps you process, all right, this is something that I'm eating, and then you can play around with flavors. Another thing is, like, people think that changing up their diet, they have to eat bland. Like, that's ridiculous. I love flavor. I love palatability of food.
Oh, for sure.
So just because you're changing something with your diet doesn't mean you got to remove flavors. Just be smart about, you know, your spices, your sauces. So like your mayonnaise, your tomato, barbecue, stuff like that. Just having that level of awareness and seeing how that fits. Like if you're tracking your macros, your calories and stuff like that. But it doesn't have to be like that. And people are really hard on themselves. Like, why would you want to eat bland? Like,
because I think it's like misconception of like clean eating.
Yeah.
Like, when someone says clean eating,
what is that?
Okay, like it's literally like no, like nothing.
No
on,
flavor.
No
they
flavor.
mean
like
clean, like no flavor.
You don't add anything, that type of thing. But it was funny because I was listening to like ages ago, like Lane Norton.
Oh yeah, Lane. Yeah.
He's like, "What's clean eating?
Yeah,
like
what
clean
the hell
eating is like
that?
what? You're gonna put like detergent or something? Like you're gonna put like cleaning products on like your food? Like he's like clean, like
yeah, right.
Yeah,
but he knows his stuff. But like that whole like clean eating, like it's it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I say that a lot too. Like, I eat clean.
Yeah.
I say I'm guilty of that. So, but what I mean by that is literally just like being mindfully eating, like nothing, not like Macca's 3 times a day.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like relatively clean eating. So, I totally get it.
It goes back to the bro science thing, isn't that like a theory of bro science, right?
Yeah, just always just chicken, broccoli, rice, or chicken.
I fell for that shit.
Not even potatoes. Like, potatoes is so good. And again, it's context based.
Yeah.
Like, if you are a CrossFit athlete, for example, I'm just thinking of CrossFit because
but
that is a very demanding sport. And I have a little bit of background because my brother opened up a gym in Blacktown.
Sure.
But he doesn't manage it anymore. He's focusing on his physio business. But it's very demanding. And so there's also this thing with fueling for your training sessions and recovering well. The thing is, people are eating like the what. It's just the quality of that food that you're eating. Yeah. So everyone's nailing protein every single day. That's the thing. Like, people are eating enough protein. Yeah. In fact, we have actually overconsumed protein a lot of the time.
Wow. Yeah.
It's the carbs that have bloody issues with everyone's mind. Like, it's just, there's people that are like, oh, carbs are bad for you. Carbs make you gain weight. We know, like, Ali, you know this, like, you must be in an energy deficit to lose weight. If you're above that, you will gain weight. Yeah. So with the whole thing with carbs is that it's that property that actually the body prefers as a fuel source. So you need to have good carbs. And again, it's the quality that we struggle with. The quality of your carbs before and after your training. And that's the thing. Like, people are already eating the what. It's the quality.
Yeah.
That's the unfortunate thing.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I'm just using myself as an example here, but my issue is probably the carbs part. Like, I'm already full at the end of the day, and I know I have to eat more just to get that energy surplus so I can gain the weight.
Gain weight, yeah.
But it's so hard, man.
Yeah,
like, I have to eat. I have to have like I have to get something really not good for you to hit my calories. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? But it's required. Like, if I was to go,
but that's what, like,
relatively clean, I wouldn't be hitting those targets.
Yeah, it'd be
so
hard. Yeah.
Like, I'm full. Like,
it goes back to the nutrient density. Like, when it's dense, like, you can't overeat on that stuff. Yeah. So anyway, talking about like, I guess food. How was your prep?
Oh, so my prep in my bodybuilding comp, which I did.
What year was that?
2017.
How was it?
Not the best. Like, you know, I'm not here to kind of call out the coach I had. Sure. If anything, the coach was as a person, very loving, very, very good as a person. It's just that the background they had and the bro science was really prominent there.
Yeah, right.
So food-wise, it was meal plans. And I bloody hate meal plans because it's so rigid. It doesn't, you can follow it all you want, but you know, again, what happens after you finish up your meal plan? Then what? Okay.
All right.
It's so rigid. And then what if life throws a curveball at you? Then what? You know what I mean? You're gonna end up eating your emotions because you're going through a stressful period of time. Yeah. That's inevitable. And meal plans don't cater to that. But anyway, we were on a meal plan and it was just so small. It was always just a protein source, primarily like a white protein, so fish or chicken. And then just greens, so broccoli, peas.
I actually like them, but
sweet potato. That's it.
Are you fucking serious?
Like it was
Is there any
5
sauce?
meals. No sauce. Not even
Peronaise on that. Yeah.
There was only like a few seasoning in the first 6 weeks, like probably like salt and like herbs and stuff like that, pepper. Yeah, and like
how many weeks was that?
I did it for 12 weeks. Yeah. Which in comp prep, like you need at least a full year. You need like 36 to a full year to prep for a comp. And at that time, again, I was really young, so I was so naive. I was just like, yep, I'm ready to challenge myself and just get into this and really challenge my like interests and stuff, because I was really heavily, sporty and stuff like that already coming out of high school. So I went into that and then, I was just like, all right, whatever. Barely knew much about like nutrition and like flexible dieting and stuff like that. It was just meal plans. No sauces, water, probably like 3 liters plus. 3 liters plus. And heaps of cardio, like an hour of cardio hit.
It's very demanding on the body.
Yeah, hit for
an hour cardio of hit.
Yeah.
Fuck me.
Before and after my training session. Plus I was eating.
What?
Yeah.
So that's 2 hours.
What
yeah. So I basically spent 3 hours in the gym. Monday to Sunday.
With weight training?
Yeah.
What was your split?
Oh, it was like... I don't even remember, but I
like full body split. Was it like?
It was like
That's
upper body, lower body, or like stuff like
so it was
like chest and biceps and shoulder, whatever like that. But yeah, barely any rest days. Ridiculous.
But when you
that's fucked.
Yeah, it is.
But like when you did the prep, because you said it takes like a whole year to prep. When you did the 12 weeks, were you cutting it already, or was it like tried to
it was just jump straight in. If from the outside perspective, 12 weeks, not enough time. So it's like, all right, if she's here at 12 weeks, we got to really push. So I understood kind of we had to take a really aggressive approach. But again, I was really young, very naive, and I was just like, yeah, whatever, let's get into it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, the coach I had, she didn't even stop me to be like, all right, I don't think it's right for you to join in at 12 weeks. She just took me on board. And if, that
would it have gone any other way though? Because you were very adamant about doing it.
Yeah, I guess like that also plays a factor. Like she kind of knew how keen I was. But, you're a coach. You have a responsibility to tell like what's optimal, tell your honest thoughts. But she didn't. Like she was just like, yeah, whatever, take your money, pay. That's
12 weeks.
Yeah.
1 hour before and after.
Yeah, before and hit training. So like,
what was it?
It was just running, like 1 minute running,
1 minute on,
2 minutes.
And you're
walking.
in a deficit too.
Yeah, and I was in a deficit from the beginning.
Oh my god! I just remember how painful that was for me, bro. That was hard.
Did like 20. It was like a 20-minute hit session.
It was like 20 minutes.
It was never an hour.
It was demanding. Like mentally, I was smoking a lot. Let's be real. I was smoking a lot to just get me by, bro. It was so bad. But I mean, I didn't eat more. Like that helped, right? So, but it's not good. I know looking back in hindsight, it probably wasn't good. But wow.
But you would you say like you wouldn't take that out of like if you were to go back and back in time, you wouldn't take that out because that gave you like a lot to learn from.
Yeah, that really
a lot of takeaways from that. I reckon.
100%. And when I came out, so I actually got hospitalised because your face. So I got like probably a month or two after I was hospitalised because I got a bacteria. When comp ended, I still kind of had that like kind of mentality, like, oh, I'm afraid to eat other foods. So I would still, like, she gave me a post-comp dieting thing, but it was still very bland. I had more food, but it was still bland. It was just like oats, milk, fruit, whatever, still bland. And so I was just really afraid to eat other things. So I kind of just stuck to the whole like plain chicken, plain fish and stuff. And it was hard, and like it was unfortunate because she wasn't there to kind of guide me. It was just like, all right, you're done, see you later. You know what I mean? Yeah, and it's just like, okay, well, I'll just figure it out myself. And so I stuck to the whole like just chicken and greens, and then I got hospitalized for eating something uncooked from chicken. It wasn't salmonella. It was just some other bacteria.
Right.
And I had a lot of symptoms like diarrhea, like very high fever, fainting, pale, like stomach pains and stuff like that. And because the whole cooking thing, like even in prep, like you'd have to steam, like no frying, no baking, just steam. So
just steam.
Just steam.
Even like
that's straight up.
No.
That's straight up shit, bro. That's bland as I've
It
had.
is,
Yeah,
yeah.
steam even. Not even boiled. That is
Not even
bullshit.
boiled,
Yeah, you can't even boil it. Steam.
Steam. So
Ugh.
obviously, like,
Good on you, but for being so disciplined, bro. Fuck, that's crazy.
I was just.
You must have wanted it that bad, bro. If you're gonna do that, like
Yeah.
for me, like I have to justify my any
Yeah.
decision with logic. So
Yeah,
if I
100%.
make a decision based on emotion, I have to justify it with logic.
Yep.
And I'm like, nah, I fucking want it that bad. I'm gonna just do
Yeah.
it. But like, if I know that I'm just gonna be eating shit. Like if she
Yep.
said, oh, I have to eat clean. Then fuck the whole thing. I'm not
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
doing
yeah.
this. Like
Yeah, yeah.
you know what I mean. So
100%.
you have to enjoy it. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
whatever you can have, like in addition to the journey, as to make it a bit more bearable.
Yep.
Then that's something you'll take. So whether it's I guess a training plan suited to your schedule,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
a bit more flexible eating and stuff like that. If it was so rigid, like you said, you wouldn't want to do it. But
No one.
like-
Yeah.
how long were you in the hospital?
A month. A month and a
Wow.
half-ish, yeah. And like they didn't really diagnose
they even
what
know
I
what.
had
Yeah.
till after I was discharged. It took that. I had to do blood tests. I had to do like the stool thing. Like I had to
Yeah.
give samples.
Yeah.
Like it was just like, it was so bad. And
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Was it an okay stay at least?
Yeah, it was an
Did
okay
you have like your own room?
I had my own room
Okay.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I was bored. I was like, I just want to go out. Like,
Yeah.
and like my friends were working and were still in uni, and so I barely got daytime visitors.
Yeah.
I'm so confused how they didn't know how to diagnose you.
Yeah.
Fuck is
It
going.
took so long, and I was like, I'm doing all these tests. I'm paying for all these like
Yeah.
blood tests and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
still nothing. And they're like, oh, we're still like
Trying to
figuring
figure it
it
out,
out. And then
eh?
I had to get a colonoscopy where
Yeah.
they like shove something
Mhm.
up your bum and
Mhm.
like really take photos and see what's happening.
Still didn't know.
Still didn't know.
The fuck are
So
they- what are we paying them for? The fuck's
Oh, relax.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just feeling for her. It's a very bad
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
situation, bro.
But-
I'd want to know what's going on.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was took a lot of patience, but yeah, at the end it was just like this bacteria that happened, and like they also found out like I developed lactose intolerance and stuff like
Wow.
that. Because
Oh,
I guess
wow.
during comp I was like she was heavy on supplements. She's like, you got to have your whey protein
Blech.
all the time, and like I guess we didn't have a break from having that supplement.
It's
so
too much, eh?
it was too much on my digestive
Yeah.
system and stuff like that. So that was a consequence. And yeah, like
You
what
had
an
it once a
experience.
day?
Like
Yeah.
yeah.
Like,
Sorry.
was it once or twice a day? Do you have the
Twice.
supplements? Twice.
Twice.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
imagine like
So
your
you're off
stomach having
dairy
to do
now,
that.
right? You're
Yeah.
off
So
dairy,
I don't eat meat at all.
Were you
Oh, wow.
scarred?
Sorry.
Were you scarred?
Oh yeah, like I guess that also kind of made me decide not to go to animal meats and stuff like that.
Oh, we have a vegan. We've got a very
Yeah.
first vegan or vegetarian?
I'd say plant-based. I wouldn't say vegan, but just plant-based.
We got a first plant-based over
Yeah.
here, babe. That's mad. So what's the go with that?
Yeah, so like even kind of before comp, I never really sat well with just
Sure.
meat.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
was like, I don't feel good. Like,
Mm.
trust me, like Korean barbecue and stuff, Korean fried chicken, good stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I basically ate meat for the majority of my life. It was
100%.
only in the last year that I kind of made the switch.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I kind of never felt okay with just
Yeah,
eating
yeah,
animal
yeah.
meats, and because I was lactose, I was like, all right, well, dairy's out of the picture.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of heading in that direction anyway,
Yeah.
even if comp happened or didn't
Right.
happen. But yeah, it's not too bad. I guess with the whole plant-based eating, just have to really educate yourself.
100%.
You are going to be quite deficient, and your requirements are going to be higher than someone who's just like a standard,
Yeah,
meat
yeah,
eater.
yeah.
So you need to be mindful of your protein variety, like getting it not just from just tofu, but your legumes and stuff like that.
Lentils and stuff. Yeah.
And then supplementation, so B12, that's commonly found in like animal meats.
Yeah.
So I supplement with that, and it's found in like nutritional yeast and stuff like that. It's a good kind of topping or like
Yeah.
seasoning for like a substitute for cheese or like mozzarella and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
And yeah, I guess like with the omega-3s, I supplement that. But yeah, like overall, I do feel better.
Yeah,
That's
100%.
just my personal experience. Like anyone who wants to try plant-based eating, the thing with plant-based is you just have to be focused on like, you know, getting your veggies, your whole grains, your legumes and stuff like that. You don't have to completely start by taking like things off your plate. Like you can just become more plant aware, like just adding more veg and stuff, like that's still under the definition of plant-based.
You have to supplement as well, right?
Yeah, you definitely have to supplement.
You have to be mindful when you go into those plant-based.
I like just a couple of years ago I switched from whey to pea protein.
Oh yeah,
it's the best decision I've ever made, bro. Like,
what was the switch like? Digestive issues?
Well, no, I was actually fine with it. It was more just around like I was switching from DairyFree because dairy, I found out, well, I don't know if I'm lactose intolerant, but I found out that it was making me break out a lot.
Right.
So I just switched, and then pea protein, I felt a lot lighter. Good. It's like, it was like the better switch, and I've been on it for the last couple of years.
Nice.
Are you doing your skincare, by the way?
Yeah, I am. Do I look good, babe?
Yeah, your skin looks very bright.
Yeah, I've been doing I've been taking care of myself.
Sorry to sidetrack there, but I just...
No, thanks, babe. I've been focusing on that, but no, but that's the thing. Like, I switched from there. I stopped breaking out, and then obviously I felt a lot lighter.
Yep.
And then just switching from that as well, it's actually not bad. Like, I prefer it now.
Yeah.
And I think ever since I'm being more mindful about dairy-free alternatives because I don't like the way it sits in me. And I don't know if that's an Asian thing or a human thing. Like, I don't know.
It depends on the person.
It depends on the person, right?
Some people, like, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
But
So,
like you, Jono, and then Sharyne obviously have like a different reaction to it.
Yeah.
So
you've had pea protein, right?
Yeah, always.
Oh, it's mad.
I love pea protein. What's your brand?
Is that what you use now?
Body Science.
Body Science.
Yeah, I use Body Science.
Yeah, that's a good brand. They have quite higher like protein per serving, like almost to 30 grams.
Almost to 30 grams,
or even like above 30.
I'm happy because I get discounts, so
that's good.
Like, it's not I have to pay like 75 for a tub, so that's always good. But yeah, I mean, I've been on it. Like the only reason why I ask is because I was thinking about going plant-based.
Yeah.
Remember that, babe? Remember my little, and I was like, I can't give Japanese barbecue up, but I can't give up the Korean barbecue. Like, I was just like, nah, I can't do it.
Yeah.
And I'm the type of guy that if I'm not gonna do it 100%, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not even gonna try it.
All right.
So I made like
he's doing really well with like his veggies. Like he'll eat his veggies and stuff. He's not
fiber. Good.
He's not like just eats meat and that's it. Like he makes sure that he's all rounded.
Yeah. Because I know how important it is. But thanks. But yeah, I guess I also wanted to touch on what you've been up to. You know, COVID.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So
it's been a couple of months now.
Yeah.
How did it impact you?
When did COVID happen?
Like March.
March, yeah. But even at the beginning of March. So when I went into personal training, Jose was my mentor. So I worked with him. Yeah, shout out to him. And, you know, we were going through the whole mentoring process before I officially kind of became part of the team. And it took like 2 or 3 weeks. But even then, I didn't even hear about COVID. I was just like, okay, it seems normal.
Really?
So, yeah, I did not. I was just like, okay, whatever. And then, I guess in the first 2 weeks in the gym or 3 weeks, then people started talking and I was like, oh, okay, so this is happening. Like, okay. But I still didn't think it was going to take such an effect that like 2 months worth of being in lockdown or not going to the gym or not having work is going to happen. I was always like, nah, like it's not going to be that bad. Like at the most, probably like 2 weeks lockdown and we'll be back.
Yeah. And then shit hit the fan.
And then next thing you know, like almost 2-3 months, we're just at home, barely got any work done in terms of like personal training. Majority of my clients then kind of paused, which is fair because I get it. Like they're probably not working as much either. Like they just want to limit their outgoings. Totally fine. 100%. Totally fine. So when that happened, I was just like, all right, well, I'm not gonna just sit at home and mope and just be like, all right, this is the life that I'm just gonna be. I kind of was like, all right, well, I already have my nutrition coaching business running anyway. I might as well use this time to kind of, you know, get it going and just like be more, you know, proficient with just my content release and stuff like that, my Instagram page. And as I kept putting one foot in front of the other, and it just, a lot of people signed up and like a lot of people were like, oh, I have time now. I can like, you know, enhance my cooking skills and like work on my nutrition. Do you mind coaching me and stuff like that? And the response I was getting was quite good. And you know, I'm at this point now where it's like, not to gloat, I'm just like, oh, there's so much work to do. There's so many people I have to
that's good.
like,
good problem to have. Yeah,
yeah. It's just
very
like
good
a year
problem
ago.
to have.
A year ago, like my boyfriend Cedric, I think you guys know him from Roberts.
We met him.
Yeah. So he was just like, what are you crying for? Like, because I had a breakdown because I was like, oh, this is so much work.
Yeah.
Like, how am I going to handle this? And he's like, you know, a year ago you were upset about like not getting too much clients. And that was a problem. Now you have a problem where it's like, you have too much clients. Like, try to see the good in it. I was like, nah, you know what? Like, it did hit everyone emotionally, like COVID, because you're just indoors. You can't really interact with other people. And so I had to find the enjoyment in like Zoom calls and, you know, kind of just being intentional again. And that went back to my goals for the year. I was like, all right, I have to be intentional with my clients. So yes, there's a lot of them, but, you know, it does make a difference when I message them midweek and say, hey, how you going? Like, any questions you have for me?
I like that, babe. I like that heaps. The thing about that is, bro, and I think it's for me, maybe even like everyone, maybe, but like if you have a coach and they don't give a fuck about you, then why are you fucking with them? You know what I mean? Like the fact that you give a fuck. You know, tells me that you care about what you do. So that's really important. I mean, both of you are like that, so that's really good. That's really good.
That's definitely a struggle for a lot of online coaches. It's like, yes, you can get as many clients as you want. You can have a big name there. But if you're not intentional with your clients, you know, at the end of the day, people like conversations. They relate to conversation. They don't relate to if you're, you know, you got all these like qualifications. You have all this scientific jargon. Like, like I'm on Instagram and I do follow some, not dropping names, just following some accounts that, you know, PTs, aspiring nutrition coaches, nutritionists, whatever. And it's just like, they're talking like they have their PhD background. And it's like, who's your audience though? Like yes, like you can put yourself out there that you know all your stuff, which is great. But your people skills might get sacrificed from that because people don't know what TDEE is. People don't know what, even macronutrients, people don't know what that is. Like, we have to remember, like, who's your audience, who you're talking to. And so a lot of my content on my Instagram, it's very basic. Like, yes, it's basic, but people respond well to it because they can process it better. They can relate it to themselves, their lifestyle. Like, that's why I try to avoid putting out too much sciencey stuff. Even though it has a place and it's like evidence-based stuff, your audience isn't going to be like people with PhD backgrounds, you know, scientific people with that kind of background. And I see these PTs talking about all this jargon and I'm just like, just remember your audience. Like, remember who you're talking to.
Why should I give a fuck about that, bro?
Like, I think that's very interesting.
No, it's I'm just like, you need to make sure you know who you're talking to because at the end of the day, people will turn away. And again, going back to the intentional like relationship with coach and client, like there's all these big online coaches, but when you sign up to them, you're not actually getting coached by them. They more than you know, they have a team behind them that actually looks through your check-ins. It's not that person with the big name.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I got coached by
like she
blah,
gave
blah,
me
blah.
XYZ.
Yeah, like she's so famous on Instagram. She coaches me. You actually don't get coached by her. You get coached by her team, whoever they are.
I wish they were like transparent about that though.
Honestly.
Because I'd be fine like doing that, like going with someone that's a big name, but like at least tell me it's a team. It's not that person. And a lot of females are just like, yeah, this is my coach, but she probably doesn't even, you know, she has so many of you. Like, do you know what I mean? Do all
I know. She just, and that's the thing. Like, if you're looking for an online coach, just make sure that that is the person that's being intentionally. And that's what I want to stand out. And I want other coaches to really realize that. Like, you can have a big following, you can, you know, have a big name for yourself, but you must always be intentional with your clients. 100%, because that's how they'll relate to you. That's how
I like that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not worth having the big name and proving yourself with all this jargon, making videos about, you know, or content about like science and stuff. It does have its place, but you need to make sure who your audience is. You need to make sure of your why. Like, and a lot of online coaches lose sight of that. And it's just like, yeah, I'm going to be an online coach, but to get to be an online coach as a full-time thing, you need to have some kind of experience in the trenches, face-to-face.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of glad, even though it was short, that I have some kind of experience face-to-face.
Yeah.
Because, again, you can have a lot of education, qualifications, whatever, but your people skills might suck. And that might be a big sacrifice on your business, on who you are.
100%.
Yeah. So it's really good that you guys have this kind of thing going with the podcast, that you talk to all these people and share people's stories.
Yeah.
Because people will relate to you.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Because it's not about the name. It's just who they are, how they relate to you.
Yeah. 100%.
And it's just something that sucks in the online coaching world.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
And I'm glad that you're so transparent about it, because it only goes back to the coach I've ever had, like Jay. He was like, I remember one time, and I wasn't expecting, I was telling her about it, like, this guy called me and we were like FaceTiming for like an hour. And he's a pretty big name. And then we were talking about personal shit. He was talking to me about, girlfriend, and I'm like, fuck, what a guy, bro. Like, I don't expect him at all. We're talking about real estate and shit. I'm like, bro, this guy, I wasn't expecting anything.
Like, this was like way after him being coached by.
And then like, I'm not even his client anymore. Like, that's one of those things. And then I'm like, fuck, like, I appreciate stuff like that, because like that going above and beyond like that, it just, like, he's just one, like, I'm behind him 100% for life now. Just because of that. It's a small thing, but it means a lot, you know what I mean? And he's doing well and stuff like that. So the fact that you have that relationship is really, really good, because, like, I mean, you don't want to lose that, I guess. Yeah. Especially when you're starting to get more clients, and then you're probably going to have a team, and then it's very hard to personalize it again. So little stuff like that just goes above and beyond. So I feel like you got the right mindset. Like, you're going to do really, really well for your clients, and you're doing really well already. Yeah. So kudos to you. Yeah. And thanks for again coming on here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Well, we're about to tick off
your shout out your Insta.
Plug your stuff.
So if you want to, I guess, learn more about nutrition, I do give out free content on my Instagram, or learn more about me, my story, my services. Just visit me on Instagram at NutriShares_coaching, and even my website, just NutriSharesCoaching.com.
We'll plug that. Well, thanks for again coming. Hope everyone enjoyed that one. Thanks again.
Everyone probably learned a lot from that one.
100%. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you guys.
Thank
you.
Chat to
you guys soon.
Bye.
Good night. Bye.